Hi everyone, this is Renee Francis with A Matter of Perception. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at 11-year-old Gannon Stauch missing out of the Lawson Ranch Division of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Stepmom has been arrested. So far, it's March 8th and she's not talking, and I'm getting a little worried that we need to get Gannon back. I know this is a evidence issue. However, the more time that goes by, the more decomp is going to happen, and between the critters and karma's going to take care of stepmom. But we did get him back. He needs to be laid to rest properly, and his mother needs to know that she has her son back. Anyway, if you're not familiar with the work that we do, we have been measuring the direct distance and compass bearing from the point of disappearance to the point of remains recovery. Point of disappearance, red target; point of remains recovery, white target, in the matter of missing children and adults. And we are seeing over and over again how the measurement of the planets, which is done by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and given to the United States Naval Observatory and to Greenwich Observatory, and then from there you get all your astrology calculations and your farmers' almanacs. And anyway, NASA does this because they need to get rocket ships out there, right? And they need to know their trajectory, so they need to know where the planets are. And what we've done here, we have over 130 children in our study. I think there's like 145 in here, okay? We've been taking what we're doing is, at the time of disappearance, we are taking the planets off their celestial coordinate system, flipping them 90 degrees, and we are vectoring them out with zero degrees grid north, okay? And we are actually showing, these are all the kids that are in our study. They are encompassing over 4 pages. We have probably about 50 something on this page, 50 something on the second page. And I think I have on here that, okay, Jacqueline Dallaby over here, she's going to start page 2. So everybody here after is on page 2. Everybody here is on page 1. And we're going to continue to add. One of the reasons I'm not sharing birth charts anymore is because the page can't handle it. And what we're noticing in here is in our data findings, okay, what we're studying is we're trying to see what's more predictable. Can we use just the sun at the time of a disappearance to give us the potent directions in which to search? That can narrow down our focus once we take into account persons of interest, cell pings. Again, our maps aren't magic, and we have one erected for Gannon to show potent distances and directions, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. I'm going to show you how to use this map, and I'm also going to be sharing some of the data that we've been aggregating in our study with other like cases. Okay, so we'll take a look at we'll take a look at over 100 and there's 46 records in here, but these are adults. But these right now are sorted towards the kids who were murdered by a mother, father, stepmother, mother's boyfriend, that are in our study. Okay, and I wanted to actually show you that this is the mile in distance, okay, of these kids. Let's do smallest to largest, okay? So we have actually 3 of the 16 in this group, okay, that were taken over 100 miles, okay? And we also want to see that basically all the people, for some reason, it seems like when a stepmother, father, or mother decides that they want to kill and dispose of their children, that they all seem to be moving in a northern direction. There's only Christopher Allen Brown. Stepmother went east by southeast with him, and Mariah K. Woods, her mother's boyfriend, went southwest with her. Okay, so um, and then we're actually looking at what those distances were. So when you look here, there's 3 cases out of the 16 that went over 100 miles. Only 2 of them were, what distance 35 and 52. That's, Bella Watts, Christopher Watts. You guys in Colorado are familiar with that. Basically, we're going from a quarter of a mile around the radius of point of disappearance to 1720. Okay, so there is a really good strong chance that little Gannon is like somewhere between under 20 miles from his residence on Mandan Drive. Okay, so let me sort this real quick for you because I want to show you this. Okay, so this is what we're finding in our study, that in these cases, Kaylee Mae Anthony, Latanya Carwell, Andrew Freud, Michael Smith, you remember the Smith babies, Lucas Hernandez, Mariah Woods, Armand Anderson, his dad, right? Maylee Davis, Taylor Williams, Sharon Matthews, okay? They all had a planet at the time of disappearance that formed a conjunction to the found bearing. That means that a planet at the time of the disappearance was measuring and within a 10-degree orb to the location of where they were found. Okay, so I actually have the orb of influence right here. Where's my orb? It's going to be in here. So I don't have all the orbs actually in here listed yet, but most of them are zeros. Okay, one was by 7. Actually, you can go to all these. These cases are on these pages. Okay, Kaylee Anthony, she's here. So let's go see what the orb was for influence of her. She's not filled in there. I can actually fill it in right now while I'm on here. Hold on. No, I don't care that she was acquitted. She was responsible for her daughter's. Did I just pass her by? Come on, Renee. Here, why am I doing it like that? Work smart. Let's find Kaylee. There she is. Okay. So Kaylee was found, point of disappearance from the parents' home when she was last seen, and she was recovered here just a few blocks up, right? So she was found on 25 degrees Pisces, which is 355 compass bearing. Okay. So she was found on a Sun-Venus conjunction opposed to Pluto and square to Saturn and square to Uranus. That's where she was found. Okay. So Uranus was 22 degrees. So she's found on the conjunction. This is 25 degrees. So the orb of influence that I want to put in here is what? It is 3 degrees. So I'm going to do Kaylee Anthony's by 3. So I can go in through here too, right? Let's go look at Andrew Freud. I actually want to show you something about his father dumped him, right? Let's go to, these are all my kids. These are mapped with all my kids in here, okay? So we're going to go to, I think we're in Iowa. No, Chicago. Okay. All right, let me show you. So little Andrew Freud. Hold on, let's go to here. Andrew, we got to go up to the A's. Let me show you real quick. Okay. There's nothing new with crime. There's new ways people do it maybe a different way. They'll, it's like the movies. They don't come up with new storylines. They just come up with more creative ways of telling you the story, right? Okay, so I want to talk about this little sweetheart here. Okay, so what we're doing is, okay, so from his home, that was a lie chart, right? That was a lie. They said that they woke up in the morning and he's gone. Okay, 9:04. They call the police, right? So look, we have 2 planets in the 8th house of death. I mean, you don't have to know anything about the stars to read our map. Okay, I'm going to project a little bit on Gannon's stars based on what I'm learning on these other children. Remember, this is a disappearance chart. Okay. So what I want to show you is where he was found. I want to show you the environment in which he was found here, okay? Because a lot of people think that when somebody dumps the remains of people that they go, typically they're going to go down a road where they're not going to be disturbed, but it's amazing how close to homes that these people actually go. And this is why I want to show you Andrew. But while I'm here, let me show you this. So little Andrew was found 6.5 miles. His father went with him, okay? He was found at a 289 compass bearing, okay? Saturn and Pluto, he was found on a conjunction, okay? So he was found on a planetary conjunction. These, if he was found over here, he would be found on a finishing point, because these lines are the measurement in the opposite direction from where these are. So if we have four planets in an aspect with one another, this is a T-square, okay? We got the sun and moon in opposition. So this happened during a full moon, right? And then we have Saturn and Pluto squaring these points. We've got 16, 27, 20, and 23 degrees. So you're going to see those degrees throughout the four different points on this compass to actually make it the square that it is. Okay, we're going to go here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here, and then that's our square. Okay, and the planets are constantly, perpetually in motion, so they're constantly moving. So when we build a map for a new missing child, we have to look at that chart, and there's going to be several planetary patterns that are happening that we have to pay attention to. The trick is finding out which one is being triggered and tying into their to the birth chart. So it helps for us to have a date of birth for any missing child. That also helps us to determine whether or not we see some afflictions to the natal chart that'll tell us that the search should be for remains, or if we're looking for a live child. So what we're doing here is, once we're going to look at this, we're going to measure this point to this point. We get our compass bearing, we got our miles and distance, and then we're going to look at this chart, and we're going to see what was happening in this chart, that what planets made an aspect to this point. Okay, so the sun and moon were in opposition in T-square to Saturn and Pluto. So that's the pattern he was found on. Now, the other thing that we're doing is we're trying to narrow down it even further by thinking that we just might be able to pay attention to the sun at disappearance, because what we're finding in the findings, what's happening here, and this is as of, I think this was November, okay, of 130 cases, but I think I got 145 in here in this study right now on across all those 4 pages. If you come to our site, let me go here. If you come to our site, there's 4 pages. There's 2 pages of homicides, foul play cases. Okay, then there's multiple child homicides. This is your Delphi girls, Smith babies, Chris Watts. Okay, and then of course we have accidents. The kids that fell into ponds, that kind of thing. Okay, so across all these pages, there's about 145 cases of children as of right now. I am not sharing the birth charts any longer. I am giving you the birth data, okay, and I'm telling you the birth aspect that was being made to that found bearing, but I'm not sharing the chart any longer because this page is too big and it's choking. And I'm crossing my fingers that for the astrological community, for my peers, I would like to be able to publish a body of work on just the birth charts. Okay. However, I'm already giving you, if you're astrologically minded and you want to look at birth charts here, you can. I'm giving you the date of birth here. Okay. We're dealing with local space astrology. So you would apply the October 14, 2013 birth date for Andrew to Crystal Lake, Illinois, because we're talking about local space astrology here. So we're always going to work from the point of disappearance, the location of the point of disappearance. Okay. All right. So what you're going to see in every one of these cases is that we're looking at the sun. In this case, for Andrew, he disappeared when they picked up the phone and said, my child's missing. The sun was 28 degrees Aries. And I want to know at 28 degrees Aries, what aspect did that sun make to this found bearing at 289 degrees at 19 Capricorn. Okay. I know it squares by 9 degrees. Okay. Because cardinal signs square each other. Okay, Capricorn and Aries aren't square to one another. They're cardinal element, cardinal quadrature, so they square, and it's off by 9 degrees because this is 19 degrees, this is 28, so it's a 9 degrees difference. Okay, so I know that at the time the sun squared where he was found and the moon squared where he was found by a 3-degree orb and the sun by a 9-degree orb. So when we come over here to this data, that's what this is. We're looking at the sun and moon at all the disappearances and how they measured against the found bearing, okay, where these children were found. And we're hoping that maybe that this is going to be able to narrow us down even further, so that when we come here and when you go to Gannon's interactive map, you're going to pull it up this way. I'm going to try to work within his map the way you're going to see it. We have this sun data wheel here, okay? So when little Gannon disappeared, the sun was 7 degrees Aquarius. That's right here, okay? Let me shut this other stuff off. Okay, when you come to his map, anything you want to shut off, okay? You want to shut off the hot spots, you use this eye over here to open and close it, okay? Locations of interest, shut them off. Hotspots, shut them off. I have a folder for patterns for disappearance. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 of them. That's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. But when we use these patterns, like right here, if I turn this one on, the moon and Venus and Neptune were in square to one another. Okay, and so we want to actually see what that pattern is actually doing against these major aspects, because if you turn on the major and the major minor of what, this is the position, if the sun was here, this is the different aspects of major and minor aspects that are on the compass to this sun position. The major, we're given a 10-degree of orb, but I assure you, once Gannon is found, when we put that bullseye, we're going to put it in one of these little highlighted blue spots, okay? I doubt very much we're going to put it here, but we could. Very, very well could. But when you start turning all these on, okay, now look at the spaces that don't have anything, okay? There's not that much, okay? So now you're looking and say, oh, well, yeah, he could be anywhere. Yeah, you're right. He can be anywhere. This is we're only showing potent direction, and it has to be used alongside investigative procedure. If you know that there's a cell ping, right? These guys were looking up here. Law enforcement was up here. Let me turn on the location. Okay, they were looking up here. Okay, well, look how close they are to this, the moon in Pisces, Venus, and where's Neptune? Oh, Neptune and Venus are the same because they were both 16 degrees Pisces. This is a very strong aspect. Okay, but that aspect is also part of the mini minor. See that? See how this line where they were looking is going over here? So I'm wondering, maybe should they shift it over, or should they shift their search over, or do they need to be back in here? Did she take this? If she went all the way up here to Castle Rock, now I'm not saying, I don't even know if she went up there. She said something in her interview that she went up there. Was she there? I don't know. Police aren't saying nothing. I don't know if she was really there, okay? Does she know Range Road? How long have they been in Colorado? Why did she take the truck? She would think that she would take the truck because, for what reason? Transporting whatever she was transporting, and then she would need the truck maybe to take some kind of roads. So this Rampart Range up here, which this is actually calling out to me. Does she know this road? Could she have gone up, left home and gone up here to this Castle Rock, went with him, and the loop's back this way? I don't know. I don't know what the truth is. And I can go on and on with the speculation from the rumors from these groups. But the truth is, if they really feel that he is up here, okay, play with this, okay? Play with it. So if he is up here, how about this Rampart Road in here? Why was she up here? Why are they looking here? Cell ping, somebody told her that she was up here. She told them she was up there. I don't know why they were up there looking, okay? Did they find something here? I have no idea. But this Rampart Road is going over here. Was it closed? Is there, the more you get up to the mountain, if you see in this little view down here, when you're working in this map, I could actually right now change this into, you're going to have to use this map in conjunction with Google Earth, because once I'm done with this video, I'm going to default his map. When I save it, I'm going to default it back to this map box, okay? Because this map box will give you terrain, okay? It'll give you some elevation and stuff here, okay? It does give you roads, okay? but you won't be able to get any satellite view. And the problem is my subscription doesn't allow for me to make every one of the maps that I do on all the cases that I work on to be in the Google view because of my subscription. Once it reaches 1,500 views a month, it shuts down, and I have too many of our maps are out there in search and rescue's hands on other cases around the states. I have to have that map available to them so that they can move in between in a Google powered map, they can move in between the satellite, road, and terrain view to plan their searches. So I had for the longest time, Gannon's map is up to 3,000 views here, and it actually kicked out my subscription for the month of February. So I really have to watch because I need to have it available to the search and rescue people who do have maps in their hand on other cases. So when I do finish with this, I'm going to change this to the map base. So when you look at this map and you're playing in these folders, just bring up your Google Earth and you're just going to have to go back and forth. Another thing is our maps are not magic, okay? They have to be used on a desktop with a mouse so that you can work around all these folders. You want to open and close them. This window right here, if I open all these and the distances, okay, I went out 55 miles. Okay, I have the standard here. You can't even see this blinking. Hold on. Standard distance. The standard distance in missing children cases is a quarter of a mile, half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, and a mile. Okay, police are going to go. Police typically in 2 weeks are going to try to do, if they have nothing, okay, and they're just going on having nothing, they are pretty much going to search a 2-mile radius. So right around here, they're, this is their 2-mile radius that they're going to search, unless they have intel that brings them out further, like they have in this case, where they're up near that lake spur. Okay, so they got a reason to be up there. Now I'm just hoping that if they do, we have sent this map over to Ellie. I typically like a phone call saying, well, gee, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know how to use this map, and I can explain stuff, but that didn't happen. So, but Gannon needs to be found, okay? I don't care if they got her or not. The fact right now is anybody going looking for him knows if you see anything out of the ordinary, you touch nothing, you bring your cell phone, and you call 911. Okay, and you are not going to touch nothing. Okay, but Gannon needs to be found. The terrain here, is just too treacherous. There's just too much, and I want to cry my eyes out knowing what they're up against. I used to live in Canyon City, and this 115 right here is a road I traveled all the time on my days off to go to Pikes Peak, Manitou Springs, hang out for the day, do Bar Trail. I never did the whole Bar Trail all the way up the top. I used to like to drive and there's so many different like pull-offs and stuff. But my whole thing is people covet what they know. I don't think that she went someplace that she does not know. So anyway, when you're in this map, okay, this sun data wheel here you could just use this alone. You could shut all this off and just use this all by yourself, okay? Just use this one all by itself, okay? Turn it on and then turn on the majors, okay? And there is a 47% chance out of 130 cases, okay? I don't know what the percentage is out of the 145 that I have. I still have to do the aggregate the data for it, okay? But I've already showed you how, let's bring this up. I've already showed you how that in these cases right now, okay, where a mother, either the mother, the father, the stepmother, the mother's boyfriend was involved, and we have a lot of cases that are unsolved that I don't even know, okay, so I could even add more to this. We don't know who did it. There are a couple of cases in our study where mothers are suspect and fathers are suspect. They just haven't been convicted of it, and so I can't go there yet. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cases out of the 16 that were found on conjunctions, meaning that a planet was measuring the same measurement to where they're going to be found. We're going to put that bullseye for Gannon when he's found, okay? And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them that were on finishing points. And that means that, the finishing point, if Gannon is found on, say if Gannon is found on at the disappearance, let me shut this off. I'm going to turn this back on. 47% chance he's here. If I turn this one on with the majors, there's a 63% chance that when he's found, that bullseye's going on one of these shaded areas at one of these distances, or very, very near to one of these distances, okay? These radiuses and the vectors are meant to be a focal point to start bringing your eye in and seeing what's possible, but it needs to be used alongside sound investigative procedure. What's known about the case? I know nothing. I'm sitting here like the rest of you, knowing absolutely nothing. Okay, everything's speculation, everything's rumors. We know very little. Okay, all right. So I know Gannon's going to be found, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, I know he's going to be found. And I'm going to turn on my little highlighter here. This area right here is our resting place, okay? Beautiful Landon. Gannon's mommy had posted a picture of Gannon's birth record as being born at 9:32 a.m. And so I know that this is his birth chart. And I know that this 4th house down here is his resting place, okay? When we come into this world, this is the wheel of life, okay? It comes in here. And then we go through our whole life and we end it here, but this is where we're rested, okay? So he has the sign of Aquarius on the cusp of his nadir, his resting place. And the reason why I know he's going to have 2 resting places is because the ruler of Aquarius, first and foremost, is always going to be Saturn, okay? And then secondary, it's going to be Uranus. What happened was, in ancient astrology, before Uranus was assigned to Aquarius, it wasn't discovered yet. So they gave rulership to Saturn. So traditionally, the way I was trained is you're going to look at Saturn first, okay? And you're always going to go by planetary protocol, okay? We got the sun, we got the moon, Mercury, Venus. These are planets that are closer to us. So because of their protocol of being closer to us, their strength and influence on us is a little bit heavier than some of the outer planets, unless the outer planets are strongly aspected to some of the inner planets, okay? You don't need to know anything about astrology to use our map, okay? But I'm just wanting to actually show that I know he's going to be found, because this is unstable, okay? This is changing. Aquarius is changing. Nothing stays the same. Even though this is a fixed sign, it worries me that I'm thinking, gee. But if Saturn wasn't a fixed sign and wasn't opposed another mutable sign, I'd say there could be a good chance we might not get Gannon back. But not with these stars. With these stars, we're getting him back, okay? Now, so what's happening here is that not only is Aquarius on the cusp of his 4th house, but he has Neptune situated in here. Now, Neptune is the ruler. Neptune, of course, is always going to have rulership over water, okay? Natural ruler is Pisces, so he's always going to have rulership over water. But Neptune at 21 degrees is exactly trine to his Mercury, which is his 8th house of his death, okay? So to me, he died where he lays, okay? So wherever he is right now, that's where he died. They are the same spot, okay? And I'm not going to talk too much about how I think he died. If I want to know that, I want to look at the 12th house. I want to look at, Renee, I want to look at this house. I want to look at the 8th house, and I want to look at the 6th, okay? I want to see his health. I want to see his death. I want to see the end of his life, okay? So we have Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So Mercury is trine Neptune, and it's in Libra. So this is, and it's conjunct Mars. So this is sharp objects. I want to say that something, a puncture, a cut, something. It could be something that's internal, because Venus is the internal, is the internal reproductive system. If she hit him, I'm just getting the feeling that that Mars is always a little bit violent, and it could have been accidental, but emotional outburst that was accidental. Like I don't know if like that the intention was to kill him, in the house, hurt him, yes, but it wasn't intentional. But now she has a sick kid on her hands, and the way he got hurt, I feel like that had to be sort of like covered up. But anyway, I think like she conned him in a way, like even to get him like to go like, come on, we'll go for lunch, and she conned him to even say, to get into that truck, even if that even was him that got into the truck. When I watch that video, I can't see crap. I can't distinguish whether or not that is him or not. I don't know him well enough, or could see well enough to know that that is him. So and I do have longitude in here that says that there's something could have happened to him the night before. But I do feel like it was some kind of cut or injury, a stab, something. And that it went untreated, and it developed into something else, and now she can't explain that, and now she's got to go. But that's not really important. But what's important is I need to focus on where he is, okay? And that's what our map is about, not so much about what happened, because police, Ellie already knows this in order for them to get their arrest. So they pretty much have a really good idea on what happened to him. So anyway, so that's why I just want to say I knew he was going to be found here. Okay, so these are his longitude, and I highlighted this because this is to 283. Hear it, 283. Okay, when you look at this map and you see that when you leave this house and you run up here and you get to 21 and you get to 21 and then you go offshoot 21 is 283. Okay, so. And I know this might sound silly to most of you, but I've seen it happen before, okay? Samantha Runyon, I think it was, he had to use 220, he used 227 to get down to Killian Trail, where he left Samantha Runyon. Sarah Ann Wood, Lewis Lent had to use Route 8 to Route 28 to get to the Adirondacks, where he put Sarah Ann Wood. And the stars at the time, there was 2 planets that were measuring 228 degrees. I'm sorry, 288 degrees. So you have the numbers 28 and 8, and he had to use 8 to get to 28 to get up into the Adirondacks. So when I tell you these numbers, okay, we only get 9 of them, 0 through 9, right? And then they just start all bunching together. But these numbers will come. They have to find us somehow. This is the vibe. Okay, so when I saw this 283, and I'm thinking to myself, if I lived there and I had to go up to Castle Rock, who's this? This is my other one, sorry. And if I had to go up to Castle Rock to look for a bicycle, which he said, I don't know if that's true or not, why the hell am I going to drive over this way and get in traffic on 25 during the day with the trucks going to Denver when I can take a beautiful ride up this way? Why wouldn't I go that way? Okay, like, why wouldn't I go that way? Why would I get on here if time wasn't an element, right? She probably said to him, come on, we'll go for lunch, we'll stop here, we'll get something to eat, and the whole thing was a con. All right, but let's get back to the map. So when you're in this map, you need to use your mouse, okay? Put your cell phone down and get off my map with a cell phone, because you can't, until you get used to using the map, you will only get frustrated on your cell phone. I use the maps on my iPad, but I already know them. I built them out, so I know how to manipulate this. But this window is going to get pretty goddamn heavy when you have all of these open. Now look at this. If I open up Gannon's patterns, here's all Gannon's patterns. Here's all the disappearance patterns, and I did her patterns, okay? This window is gone on you, okay? So you have to learn to use these little arrows to close things down, okay? And you're going to take your time, okay? So if we're here and they were looking up here for her, okay? Go look, what else is going, if they're so strong in this area, then maybe there's another line in here that will help them narrow down an area in here, okay? And let's go to this disappearance. So we're going to shut this moon. This is very, very strong, this one. Very, very strong. Okay, not only is this one on part of this major aspect. Oh, come on. Sometimes if that happens to you, what just happened, okay, and these wheels things, if I leave it on and it's spinning, that's just so that you can actually go and see it'll take you to the child study if you want to go there and see the cases, okay? That's why the links are there. All right, so I have the major and the mini minor on. So so right here, it's 63% chance that when I'm going to turn these hotspots off, okay, because it makes it so busy. And you can turn off the where's the locations? Disappearance. Where's the locations? What happened to them? Oh, here. Okay. See, sometimes you get buried in here, so you have to, like, sort of play with that. Okay. On and off. It's. I know this is a lot. We're coming around a half hour. I didn't want to be that long. So let me shut this off. Now here you're at 63%. Use this to actually talk to you when you find one of these patterns that you might like, okay? If you're part of a search effort for him, if you're part of law enforcement, and if any of you sweet little women out there have any of your husbands in law enforcement, if you can put this underneath their nose, put it underneath their nose. Sit here and play with it. Okay, it took me hours to build it. Spend an hour, spend 2 hours playing with it. Let's just look at the disappearance, okay? Now remember that all these patterns in this disappearance, I tried to do the majority of the major ones that I felt strong enough that he could be on. And I'm showing you in all these cases over here how these kids were found on one of these patterns. Okay, when Gannon is found, he's going to come up on one of these patterns that were in place at the time that she says that he disappeared. Okay, all right. So this pattern that I have right on is the Moon, Venus, Neptune that was actually conjunct at the time. This aspect in his chart is this right here. Is this right here? Let me just highlight this real quick so you can see. Okay, so it's this aspect that is in square to Mars, okay? This is horses, and it's in square to horses. It's this horses, okay, stables, is in square to this Pisces of her, and it's right on his Uranus and his Saturn, okay? So this transiting aspect is triggering this aspect in his birth chart, okay? If I turn on... So when I say that this is horses, that means there could be some kind of wildlife or horses or horse stable or horse farm around or near, driven past on the road where he is, okay? All this right here is telling me sort of like water and rock ravine, okay? He could be by a power plant. He could be something. He could be by artillery, okay? Because remember, this is Mars. Okay, Mars in Sagittarius, this could also be our, our military. And I know there's nothing but military there. So, gun ranges, that kind of thing, hot things are hot, the power, okay, power lines, but I'm getting drainage, okay, the culverts, okay, this is rock. And this is probably maybe something a little bit more man-made. No, I'm sorry, maybe not man-made, but... formed because of wear. Okay, so the ravines were washed, for the thaw. But what I want to actually also bring up while I'm here is that this planetary pattern, this Saturn-Uranus opposition that he has in his birth chart, it's holding in all these planets. There's nothing past here. The ascendant at time of his disappearance and his progressed midheaven, but all his natal planets are trapped in between these oppositions. And I've seen this before, and I could actually do a sort and try to show you the other cases that they were found on. But when that happens, okay, they're typically on that aspect. Okay, so if I go into Gannon's map and I turn him on, I already have his Saturn opposition on. Oh, stop it. Okay, I already have it. I had it turned on. Okay, look. Now his opposition is falling right in on that Moon, Venus, Neptune that I already showed you about. Okay, now if we go to Letitia, okay, and if I turn on, she has her progressed sun at the time of this happening in her life. Her progressed sun and her Neptune are in square to one another. It's wide. Okay, if I shut Gannon off here, let me close these. If I shut that off, shadow and shut that off, that's her progressed planet. That's her progressed sun, Neptune, um, square. Okay, this is her sun. This is her Neptune at 26 degrees. Her sun is at 16 degrees, but we're going to do the 16 and 26 degrees all the way around this compass. Okay. So sometimes people have a tendency to finish. Sometimes people have a tendency to finish off their T-squares. Okay, when they go and they hide people, even the kids, if they have a T-square or a T-square happening at, there's something in opposition at the time they disappeared, they'll be found on on a bearing that finishes that T-square, makes it the T, or makes it the grand square or the grand trine. It's really fascinating how some of these how they wind up ending. Okay, so I have this. If you turn Gannon on, okay, so Gannon has his Uranus and his Saturn's here. If he's going to be finished on the T, that's here. Okay, that's why this hot spot is over here, because I got it. This area would be in line with not only her sun Neptune. Now this is funny because Neptune is being hidden in mystery, okay, and losses, and it's squaring her progressed sun. Get it? Sun, 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 pun intended, okay? So that this area over here, now how quick would it be for her to leave that house here, right? Run over, she can get over here she can get over here, okay? There's the John May Bug Museum that's here. I get the feeling that she would have went somewhere that she knows, okay? She's going to go somewhere she knows. And if they would have went over here and spent the day when they first got there, I'm sure when they first got there, they're showing the kids around. Anybody drives up 115 with kids, those kids are going to notice that bug, that this could have been a place that she could have gone for some reason, okay? And then jump on 115 and go up. I mean, I don't know if she was on that road. I don't want to rule this out, okay, because this could finish the T. So I want to bring this up in focus. Now keep in mind that sometimes if you look at some of my cases that I've already worked on and now the kids were found, I'm kind of leaving my hot spots on so you can kind of see how off I am with them. I think with child accidents, little Maddox Rich. Let me go down to Maddox. Where's my little Maddox? Okay, Maddox Rich. Okay. This was my hotspot for Maddox Rich. They were going to drain this pond. Divers went in here and they did not find him, but I guess they just weren't able to get it too deep or whatever. But then the couple days later, it took a week for them to find him. They were going to drain this pond, but one of the search people that I work with had called up and said, "You got any spots we can go look at? They're coming in. They're going to have the dogs again today." And I said, "Just go over here and look on this Martin Luther King Drive and that whole ravine coming down there." So they found him here. Okay, and what happened was in the ravine, the wash that he was in, it was all overgrown. So this is something to consider with Gannon, that he could be, if she went in and pulled off a road and went down into like a ravine area, she could have definitely went into like the brush area to keep him hidden. Okay, so he was hidden. They searched this prior, like the day later after he went missing, they searched this, but then they went back with the dogs and they wound up finding him in here. Okay, so this one I was dead on. Okay, I just got done working with a private investigator on Harley Dilly. This case, I knew that Harley Dilly climbed, okay? And I knew Harley Dilly climbed because when he was born, he had Jupiter 15 degrees Libra. The moon at the time he left his house was 14 degrees Libra. And I remember that when Corey Brown, when he left his house mad because his parents took his cell phone, he walked all the way over here and climbed the cell tower, okay? Libra was 14 degrees rising when he left his house at 11:15, okay? So when you start looking at all these kids, it all comes back around in the cycle. Libra always wants to tell you something a little bit about height, okay? And then not only that, but we also have Benevez up here. Her and her boyfriend went up to a oil tank, climbed up there, hung out, smoked some weed or something. He left, and then she wound up falling off of it, and she died. Okay, and here we go again. Moon 13 degrees Libra. Okay, so we had some height again with falls. So when we were working with when I was working with private investigators with Harley Dilly, I said, listen, you need to go and start from his home. You need to look at something he could have climbed. And I even mapped out all the cell towers for them. And I said, go look near the cell towers, okay? Look around. I said, if he was pissed and he climbed, he's mad. I said, but this all happened very, very quickly. So as it turned out, the Port Clinton got our map. I also said the same thing to Port Clinton. You know, he climbed something and he fell. This is not, I said, I've looked at 130 cases of children who have been murdered by somebody, and this is not a murder. This is not a foul play case. He fell. He climbed and he fell. And, well, of course, he tried to get into the chimney, into the house where he was going to hopefully just wait out and before he can go back home. Right, little Harley? All right. Well, anyway, so with Gannon, okay, Gannon, Harley Dilly, I also, if most of you people who follow me know that I work with the name, okay? After I work with the stars and build up the map, the stars are going to tell me whether or not we're looking for remains or we're still looking for a live child, okay? The name is going to start putting other things together for me. Harley Dilly's name also told me that he climbed. Okay, on top of seeing the moon in Libra and conjuncting his own Jupiter in Libra, I knew that he climbed from something that came out of his name, and I'm writing about it, and you'll be able to read it after I finish writing about it. Anyway, Gannon's name is telling me something about guns and gunshots and gun ranges. So that's why in Gannon's map I have highlighted the gun ranges. Okay, so now over here. Is there another, where's that thing? Hold on. Where's all the locations? Here, look, there's a gun range here. Okay? So, when I have this hotspot here, I'm not telling you not to go look over here, but here you have all these, you have all this drainage. Okay? You got all this in here. I mean, I don't know if it has water in there, but it looks like it's got vegetation in it, so it's very easy for him to have been hidden. And there's roads here. I know that this is all the Fort Carson area, and that she probably, I mean, I don't even know if she could have drove through all this. I just want to bring up this area, okay? Just remember that it was brought up. And I'm not saying that he's not east. I'm not saying he's not south, okay? I just showed you in all these cases how all these people went north. Okay, and only 2 of them went south, okay? Maybe she's going to be, when I add Gannon to my study, maybe she's going to be one of the ones that went south, okay? We're going to learn something from Gannon's case. Not any one of these children in my study are their cases going where I don't know. I'm not going to let their cases not teach me something for the next victim, okay? That's why we're doing this study. We are trying to make it predictable. Of course, it's the terrain that's up against here is absolutely ridiculous, okay? So this is just one pattern for Letitia. Let me shut Gannon off. Let me show you all Letitia's patterns. That's her sun, Neptune progressed. I'm not going to bring her chart up right now. Where's her chart? Let's bring her chart up for a minute real quick. Let's see this. Now, I don't have time for her. Where's she? Right here. I don't have time for her, but she's got the moon in Gemini, and it opposes Neptune, so she's a little on the whack side. One of the things that you learn when you do astrology is you realize that everyone's different. Everyone has their star placements. Everybody comes into this world, have to learn their lessons. Okay. Am I aggravated and upset with her? Absolutely. Do I want to hate this woman? Yeah, I do, but I can't. Okay. I can't. She came into this world just like the rest of us did, to live our life and to work out our stuff. So all her patterns were peeled out on here that she has in her sun is progressed. Her sun at the time that she did this is 16 degrees Virgo, so it's down here, and it's ready to square this here, okay? So that I did a progressive because I saw it, and not only that, but that her progressed sign at 16 degrees Virgo was exactly opposite the Venus Neptune. So that's that pattern. And he could be on this pattern. He could be on it east. He could be on it west. He could be on it south. He could be on it here. What do you know? Okay. So you look at just this pattern and you see what you know about what her movement. Okay. Shut that one off. Look at the moon, Jupiter, the sun, moon, Jupiter, Uranus sextile. Look at, see, you start seeing the same thing happening over again because, all the planets are in aspect with one another. They don't, just because that one's an aspect to the sun doesn't mean that one can't be too. Okay. This is what makes the work difficult. Okay. So this is a sextile for her. Okay. Could he be here? Absolutely. Here? Absolutely. Up here? Scan down, look at it further. If you want to come into the distances and you wanted to just shut off the over 20 miles, turn them on, shut the under 20 miles off, just to make the map less busy. You want to shut off my location, shut them off. You want to shut the hotspots off, shut them off. You can make the map easier to read and move in and groove. You can even use this, again, as I said, to throw in, I think people were talking about some Gold Camp Road. Throw that in there. Any lines going over the Gold Camp Road, throw them in. Look at it. Okay, moon Venus. She had the moon Venus, moon Uranus Venus square. Okay. Remember what I told you about them finishing points. What happens if what happens if she put him on a finishing point that would actually finish off her T-square that she has involving the moon? Oh, stop. It's touchy. Okay, so don't open these. Okay, you open all these, but once you get to the patterns, don't open them. Okay, because if you accidentally shut one of these off, you're going to miss the line. You're going to forget to turn it back on and you're going to miss it. Okay, so don't open these up and look at them like I am right now. I'm opening this up right now because I want to see this. We got a 0, 1, 4, 5, 9 instead of hovering over it like this. Okay, so she has a moon, Venus, Neptune. This is her Jupiter. That's her Uranus. That's her Venus. That's her Mercury. And what's that? That's her moon. Okay, so she has a moon, Uranus, Venus, Mercury opposition. I don't think there was room to put the whole aspect in there. And all these finishing points are the other end of it. Look where it's going. Look where it's going. Right? Weren't they searching here? They're searching here, but she's got line here. She's got line here. She's got line here and here. Okay? All in that one aspect. All in that one aspect. I turn it on, turn it off. So again, if you like an area like this, okay, this Rampart Road. Is she going over that? So none of that goes over that range. Okay, so you can go in, like, right, and then you can say you like this area. So look at her Saturn, Neptune, Pluto sextile goes over it too. Okay, so she has a sextile that's going over this area too, back in here. Okay, I'm not saying he's back here. I'm just saying it's a possible. They're looking here, and what did they find? I don't know what they found. Maybe they needed to be back in here a little bit further. Okay, this is why I think our maps are helpful, because just like in the case of Christina Williams, the police stopped their grid search. They stopped their grid search for Christina Williams in a reserve 100 feet short from where they found her, where a photographer found her. Months later, okay, they stopped their grid short 100 feet short. The thing is, they gotta have when they go and do a search, they're gonna say, all right, we're gonna search this square, this area, this square miles. That's what we're gonna search. They put their 100 men in there and they're gonna do the search. Okay, and they have to make those boundaries. They have to set a limit of what they're gonna do and what they're gonna search, because it has to be organized. But what if they just stop short there for Gannon? That's the point I'm trying to make. That's the reason I'm saying that if any of you sweet wives out there have your husbands in LE, put this map underneath their nose, just show them, just have them go take a look at these kids. Okay, every single one of them is telling them we got something that are missing or being found in the geometry. Okay, we're not separate from this solar system. We live in it. We are a part of its clock system. Okay, we're just a part of it. If three wise men followed a star to find Jesus, why can't we follow the stars to find Gannon? Okay, and now say this is her moon, Pluto, Saturn square. Okay, so now we got stuff going over here. Now we got, she's got this and this, these planets are here square to one another. These are their finishing points. So he could be here. He could be somewhere up here. He could be somewhere up here. Okay, everyone, my map and everybody's speculation will drive everybody crazy. Law enforcement needs to look at this, and they need to look at it with the data, with what they know. And then this could actually be, maybe this could help us get Gannon back. Because remember, out of the 170 cases in here, okay, out of all the cases right now that I have, 75 of the kids were found on conjunctions, and 70 of them were found on finishing points, and that's out of the whole. I know that number off the top of my head because I just counted it a couple of days ago. And again, you can come back down in here and turn the sun data on. Okay, so again, and then so this, if you turn both of these on, this is going to give you 63% chance that he's going to be in one of these areas. So you can turn this on, and then turn one of these on. And you see how they're with one another. So I think he's in a drainage. I think he's in drainage, and he's hidden in the brush. And either we're gonna have to, if nobody finds him, we're gonna have to wait for the thaw. We're gonna have to wait for a hunter. We're gonna have to wait for a hiker, dog walker. Somebody who. We're going to shut that one off, turn that one on. All right. So all this creek area down here, we got vector coming in here for him. You turn each one on, each one off, little by little. Again, it's not magic. It's to be used alongside sound investigator procedure. But this little one needs to be found. Okay. Also at his page, I did a little play with his name. This is what's telling me. Hopefully, I'm thinking she's confessing, and she's going to tell one of the, during one of the interrogations, she's going to let loose that hopefully that he's in one of the canals there, okay? Cacti tunnel. So when you think of a cacti tunnel, you kind of think of thorny bushes that are overgrown over a ditch. Like that could be a tunnel, right? And it could also be a concrete tunnel or aluminum, the drainage that they use for underneath the roads. Of course, it could be that. But maybe Lay's cacti tunnel, it could be that that there's growth overdone in the ditches. And I don't want to say that she didn't climb one of those mountain roads and let him go down from there, and that's where we're going to get him in the wash. But even the ravines can be tracked. I mean, hikers can track the ravines coming down, right, with the thaw. But anyway, this is a number grid. I already showed you 283. Here his Venus was 6 degrees Scorpio, 216. This tells me that something, whatever happened started the night before, okay, which we all know from the videos that she posted, okay, but I don't know if that was him on that video leaving the house. I don't trust what the media has given us, okay. Could he have died the night before and she did something with him the night before, and the person walking out to that car is somebody else dressed like him? Throw things off? Does she not know that people have friggin' cameras on their houses? I mean, I don't know. I like to think of Achman's razor, where it's it's the most simplest story. Okay, so the moon was 11 degrees Pisces, and here we have a woman. Moon is reporting 11 years old. Pisces missing, right? Sorrow. I was kind of hoping that maybe any of these dates, any of these numbers that have a 3 in them, 327, maybe we find them on March 27th, March 20th. She was arrested on March 2nd. So maybe we got a possible recovery there. Maybe 321. Maybe they find them on March 20th, and we get an ID March 21st. Like sometimes I like to see the numbers back up. It's totally two different star signatures. but the numbers are the same and they're right after one another. So, and again, I really feel strongly about this 283, whether or not they get camera footage of her traveling that road with him or even without him. Okay. And, like I said, I think people covet what they know. 115 is a very popular road. What happened when did they go there? Did they know that that's where they were going to live? Did they look at other places in the area, other development, homes development? Was there a reason for them to be on 115 in the past, that she would know that road? I Everything is a speculation. Everything's just a big question mark. And it'd be really nice if our map for Gannon was actually looked at by Ellie, and because they know they're crunching it all together and they're getting their story together, so they know. And so our map would be best served in their hands. But at the same time, if any people got your feelings, just again, when I save his map, where am I? When I save his map, and I'll do that right now. Okay, I'm going to save his map, and I do have to save it as a map box. Okay, and I'm going to save it, and I will leave it the way it's at right now. And that's the way you'll see it when you go there. And Gannon needs to come home. It's time to come home, Bubba. Let's go. I was waiting for you. This is unacceptable. God bless, and he's got to come home this time.